The noise around Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma's lack of form is only getting louder, while many in the country, including people who didn't really follow the sport, praised Rohit Sharma for selflessly dropping himself ahead of the last test because he considered his lack of runs a liability to his side. The sense of anxiety, anger, unrest and impatience towards two of India's biggest superstars when it comes to their batting and form is only growing. Prominent voices in Indian cricket have delivered their verdict, and it's very loud. Go back to domestic cricket. Now, we all know the numbers are appalling. I do not need to pull them out here and show them to you and get out a chart to know that Virat and Rohit's scores were very low during the Border-Gavaskar Trophy. Mostly single-digit figures, though Virat did flatter with 100 at Perth, only to deceive in the rest of the series. No other big scores coming off his bat thereon. The Indian head coach Gautam Gambhir dropped more than a hint at the Sydney presser post the match on going back to the roots and working on the game.
I would always like everyone to play domestic cricket, not only one game. If they are available and they have the commitment to play red ball cricket, everyone should play domestic cricket. As simple as it can get. If you don't give importance to domestic cricket, you will never get the desired players that you want.
Some of the strongest voices of criticism belong to World Cup winners and commentators who have been fond of and very close to both Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli. Ravi Shastri, the former head coach of the men's Indian cricket team, was more sharp in his criticism, also questioning whether the senior-most players in the side were hungry enough to keep working on their game.
They might have been lucky to get over a couple of series, but you saw how New Zealand exposed them before coming to Australia. If there's a gap for them, I think they should go back and play some domestic cricket and see how it is. And plus, it's the hunger and desire. When you are in your 30s, one is 36, the other is 38. They would know how hungry they are.
Rohit Sharma proclaimed while speaking to the broadcaster on day 2 in Sydney that he isn't going anywhere. He's here to stay. But if that bat needs to start talking, then he needs match time and practice. And that cannot happen in international cricket. That cannot be the practice ground. That's where the results need to show. Rohit Sharma has not featured in a Ranji Trophy match for 9 long years. Virat Kohli last played Ranji Trophy way back in 2012. Want to know when was the last time Sachin Tendulkar played a Ranji game? It was in 2013 in Lali. I still remember the crowds rushing in to catch the master. It was a rare sight in Haryana. And guess what? That was the year he retired. He played domestic cricket even till the year he called it quits. The Indian Cricket Board, just last year, had sent out a strong warning to certain Indian players. This was after a string of poor performances in bilateral series outside India. You know whom I'm referring to. Shreyas Iyer, who was dropped from central contract after a horrid run with the Indian squad, was pushed out and told go play some domestic cricket. He of course responded by winning the Indian Premier League as captain of the Kolkata franchise. The same treatment was dealt to star wicketkeeper of the Mumbai franchise and someone who was in the Indian setup for a while, Ishan Kishan. The BCCI was stern with their messaging, and it showed. Unless you're devoted to the sport and to bettering your game, you have no place in the national side, is what the BCCI said. When you're free of national commitment, you simply have to turn up for your domestic side, your state side. That's what their messaging was. Shreyas Iyer, Hardik Pandya, they've been busy in the last few months in domestic cricket. Nitish Reddy, fresh off the Australia series, is set to play the last phase of the Ranji Trophy for his state side. He realizes even that 100 that he scored, that magical 100 in Melbourne, isn't enough. He needs to do more, work harder, score more. That'll make him more dependable in the Indian lineup. Should that thought not apply across all cricketers, young and old, especially if you so desperately want to be there at your best, up against the best in the world? Some youngsters like Shubman Gill, KL Rahul have not played domestic cricket over the last 4 years. Maybe the best way they can truly gravitate towards this principle of going back to the drawing board each time should come from the seniors. If players like Ajinkya Rahane and Cheteshwar Pujara, veterans of the sport, are still hungry and continue to play domestic red ball cricket even today, months after being left out of the international cricket setup, what's stopping the rest?
From breaking news to the day's biggest controversies, shedding light on the world's top headlines. Detailed analysis on the stories that matter the most to you. Catch it all on Spotlight at 6 p.m. India time and 12:30 GMT. Only on Firstpost.